Alright guys, we need to backlap this McLane lawnmower. I had it sharpened a few years back, but it's probably dull. Doesn't cut paper like it needs to, you know, when you hold it underneath. I noticed my chain here is really loose. A lot of slop there, probably just from overuse. You can even see how it's wearing out the pieces here. And you know, there's really no adjustment for those two sprockets. So I think it's just the chain has gotten loose. I really can't take out the link or anything. I think it'd be too tight. I ended up buying 10 feet of chain. I'm waiting for my chain cutter to come in, and then I'm going to try replacing that, but that's getting a little bit off topic. So I got another McLane here. This one, the chain's off, so I'll show you that. It clearly had the same problem too here. So I made this first, and very dangerous looking device here. But the goal was that it would fit on the sprockets, and it does a pretty good job, and then it could turn and spin it. The problem is with only three items or three studs, it doesn't do a good job. And I've seen guys use duct tape on YouTube, which I may end up doing. But in the meanwhile, I said, well, let me try some other things. So I took a piece of paper and kind of drew out the sprocket, and then I transferred that to a little piece of thin plywood, and I drove some screws through there, and got more touch points here. And this actually works pretty good. You know, I can use it to spin the blade. It's hard to do with one hand here. Let's see. Let me get this on there, and you can see that this actually works pretty good. So you know, that'll work. One other thing I'm going to try is this, the 2-inch PVC cap. I was hoping it would be tight enough to where I could, you know, put it on there, maybe heat it up and melt it, but it's still too loose. But I think that may actually work to my advantage. So what I'm going to do is cut a little bit of pipe off, stick it down in here to the point where it's maybe just a little bit inside the lip, and then I'm going to heat it up and press it on, heat up this and press it on. Hope that it'll kind of engage with the gears. I won't hold the camera. Hope it'll engage with the gears, and then I'll drill a hole back here and you know, put a little nut on there so I can spin this. So I'm going to try that just to see what happens, to see if I'm successful with it or not, and I'll update you when that's done. Alright, so the update is that method did not work. I tried the duct tape method, but this sprocket is so covered in grease the duct tape didn't stick. It was close. I could probably clean it all up and see. But what I decided to do is I removed this back sprocket, and I'm going to try to just run the chain through a drill backwards and see what happens. So here's the sprocket I removed, and I got a socket, old socket, and I grounded it off. So I'm going to put that in there with the set screw and run it in the drill with the chain backwards, and we'll see what happens. So this is what I tried. It worked okay until I started tightening the blade down so that you know, I could get a good lap, and there was just too much tension and the screws ended up going loose. And I turned it around, tried it a few times, but I just can't get it tight enough with those screws. So I'm going to try this and I'll let you know how it goes. Alright, so I got the socket in there. I decided to actually flip it around so I have a little gap here so I can actually ride on the shaft and provide some stability, so that when I turn it, again, I'm turning it backwards now, but once the chain's on there, it'll give me some support. So this should work. Let's see. And it looks like we have success. So I've been running for a few minutes. If you can see back here, at the edge of the bed knife, it's hard to see, but it's getting some hone to it. There's the front edge, you can see that too. So I just need to do it a little bit more maybe and adjust the blade and see what happens. Alright, things are going pretty good here. Gonna do it for a little bit longer. Let's see if we can catch it. That works pretty good.